Okay. Enough of the games. Welcome back. My name is Gabriel Uribe. I am your host of The Grind is Real, and it feels so good to be back here with everybody. But first order of business, this is my first season, as everybody knows. I love to experiment. I love to try out new things. I love to have fun and see what works and see what doesn't work. So I think with this episode, I really want to implement a kind of new format, which, yes, we keep things interesting when it comes to, the basis of this channel, which is acting, industry, and all that kind of stuff, and really motivational. But I feel like a hot gossip kind of moment too. Per my last episode, I was really talking about authenticity and showing up as me authentically and genuinely. So, why don't I had a thought, why don't I pull back the curtain a little bit more and kind of let people in a little bit more? I mean, as much as I feel comfortable with, because obviously I like to keep some things to myself, but I feel like I have a lot of stories to tell and people should hear them because maybe it'll help somebody, which has always been my goal for this channel, for this podcast. So we'll do a little bit of the, typical motivational type of things. This episode really is going to be based on letting go. Let it go, as Elsa would like to say. And this is that'll jump off onto some little tea as to why I want to talk about letting things go. Well, let's just get right into it. Letting it go. That to me is something that I've always really tried to be really good at, especially when it comes to acting things or when it comes to auditioning or when it comes to relationships. The power of letting things go and kind of like not letting them control you or sit there and fester inside of you is a really powerful thing to have or to train yourself to do or to just be comfortable and familiar with. I think especially when it comes to the industry, when it comes to acting, when it comes to people's opinions of you, you really have to have a level of discernment in what you want to take in and what you want to take on and what you just want to be like, I'm not interested in that. That's your opinion. Great. For auditions specifically, I very much am the kind of person where it's like, I do it, I forget about it. I don't expect to not hear back, but I'm okay with not hearing back before I even submit it, because 9 times out of 10, I also have to be realistic and know that I'm not the only one auditioning, especially for big projects. Like I just had a really big SAG commercial audition. I'm sure I'm not the only one auditioning for that. And yeah, and if I don't get it, that's okay. If I do get it, amazing. Have I heard anything back since? Oh, but that's okay. Honestly, it's fine. I'm in 2 plays right now, which is taking up a lot of my time, a lot of driving time, a lot of energy that I have to give. But, sometimes you just have to really change your perspective on things and just know that if something is for you, it will stay. If it's not, it won't. It's as simple as that. And that really is the letting go part of it. And I mean, it's hard. Don't get me wrong. I struggle with letting things go and wanting to at times maybe relinquish that control and surrender to whatever the path and whatever the journey is that I'm on. And if that's a lesson I have to learn, then it's a lesson I have to learn. Do I always like to learn my lessons? No. But eventually you'll get it, and maybe not in the moment. You won't see why you had to experience that or why you had to let that person go, or why this project just isn't for you. Because when one door closes, another one opens. But it's hard. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's the easiest thing to do. When it comes to auditions, it is for me easy because I also fill my time with other things. I'm not sitting around waiting for an audition to come in. And I believe I'm a really good manifester. If I want an audition, I just think about it. I just say, oh, I want an audition today. I feel like having an audition today. I feel like booking today. And I'm not going to lie to you. In the past, that has actually worked for me. I don't know if it's just coincidental. I don't believe it is. I believe you attract what you put out. I sound like an asshole right now. But, like, it's really it's a mindset. It's a mindset that takes practice. It's a mindset that takes resilience. It's a mindset that takes having to learn those hard lessons of when you should let go sooner than you actually did. Because I just experienced that in this recent past, okay? And again, it is a lesson that I needed to apparently learn once again. But if I can impart any knowledge onto whoever is watching this, then I will do so. Because if you can learn something from me and I can save you from the heartache and the tears and the questioning the universe why, then great. Then great. In my personal journey, when it's come to this industry, when it's come to acting, when it's come to anything that I do, really, I feel like we go through evolutions. I feel like we go through different stages and different eras of where you are on that journey. And in the past 4 or 5 years of me doing this, I have lived like 20 lives when it comes to this, I feel like. And I've also had to let go of certain versions of what I was expecting it to be. Because that doesn't help anything. It's like, it's insanity. You keep wanting the same thing, but you're not going to get that result because it's just not meant to present itself that way to you. And that's okay. Like I used to be so rigid about how I wanted things to go. 1 + 1 = 2. I need to get a commercial agent. I need to book a commercial. I need to book as many commercials as I can. I need to get that reel, and then it'll lead me to the next one, and it'll lead me to these casting directors, and it'll lead me here. It'll lead me here. Like, it's not a scavenger hunt. I wish it was a scavenger hunt because then at least you could follow the scavenger and you would eventually get to your end goal. But it's not. It hasn't happened for me that way. I haven't booked really a big commercial at all, and that's okay. I've also have let go that I maybe don't find commercials as interesting as I do stage work or actual like film stuff. And that's okay. That doesn't make me less of an actor because I haven't booked a McDonald's commercial or I haven't booked a big SAG national commercial. That doesn't mean anything, really, because you could do that and that doesn't make you a big star. I mean, if you get a contract like Progressive and Flow, cool, great, that's amazing. But I also am not interested in that. And again, I also fill my time with other things and have other creative outlets where it's like, I don't need to sustain myself that way. It would be nice if you could, but that's just not on the current path for me, and that's okay. So with that said, that is just something that I've had to let go of because I've heard the rhetoric. I've heard that, like commercials is a good way to make money and X, Y, and Z. And as an artist, it's a good way to sustain yourself so you can focus on acting full time. But the truth of the matter is if that's happening for you, that's happening for you. But if it's not, it's not. And that's not a, what's the word? That's not a reflection of your actual talent. Because with commercials specifically, what I've experienced is, I watch my auditions back. I think I'm my number one fan always. So anything I ever send out now in the stage that I am, maybe not when I was first starting out, I was just kind of sending shit out just to send out for the sake of like, I need to get the audition in. But now everything that I send out, I am so confident in. I am so confident. I am so proud, and I am excited to share it with the casting director that's on the other side watching it. Now, whether they book me or not, that's not even up to them, really. It's up to the client, and if they like you, because they're the middle people of pushing those people that they think would be a great fit for that. But ultimately, it's what the client wants. And to me, that is really like the art of like just letting it go. Letting it go. If as long as I'm proud with what I do, and if I can sit there and watch something 100 times over and still find the joy, and not like in a masturbatory way of like watching myself, because I will also be like, ooh, that was not good. I will also be like, I don't know about that. I can be very critical of myself. I used to just not have that confidence. I used to just send things out because I just wanted to get something out because I wanted to like my professionalism. I need to, get this out there. And I don't do that anymore. I send things out that I'm proud of. And frankly, if I don't like the project, I'm not gonna audition for it because it's like I don't I don't have to. I know that sounds kind of like pompous, and I'm not. I don't mean it in a way that's like, oh, I don't have to do anything I don't want to do because I'm Gabriel Uribe. No, I just mean it, and like I love having a level of discernment of like, is this worth my time or is it not? I love working for free. I love working for free, and I will do it for the art. I mean, for the theater, I will do it for a student film that I love. I will do it. But also that takes time, and that takes energy, and that takes sometimes it just doesn't fit with what I'm doing in that moment in my life. And again, I've had to let go of feeling less than when I choose myself over overextending myself for the sake of just doing it because I want another credit, or I want to, in a weird perverse way, prove to myself that I'm living the artist way. There's no one way to live the artist way. The artist way that you're living is your way. And I used to feel bad. I used to feel bad turning down an audition. I used to feel like dirty, or like I didn't love it enough, or I'm doing the wrong thing, because if you're a real actor, then you should be not turning down any audition that comes your way. It's like, no, I want to turn it down because the script is crap and I don't want to fucking waste my time doing it. I don't feel like driving 2 hours away for no pay, not even a gas comp, to, for what? Like, that's not even, I'm saving you time by not wasting your time watching something that I'm not even really interested in doing, really. And this is the God honest truth. I mean, you can judge me or take it however the hell you want to take it, but that's exactly how I feel. At times, not all the time. 98% of the time, I show up and I enjoy the project, and I do it for the fun because my job is to audition 9 times out of 10. And I've also had to let go of like not hitting like milestones right away, or it seeming like, well, this person is like hitting the milestones and working up the steps as like if it's like Scientology or something, like we're working up the steps to enlightenment. No, like everything comes in its own timing, in its own divine timing. And when it's ready to find me, it will find me, just like how everything else has found me up until this point. And that's just letting it go, and not forcing things to come into your life and to stay into your life, and knowing when to set a boundary with yourself and other people. So I hope this first part of the letting it go episode is helpful. If it's not, oh well. But that is going to transition us into the next part, where we show up authentically, really, this time. So per my last episode, we all know that I spoke about my breakup and how horrible and traumatic it was for me, right? Well, it's so funny because the universe has a very, 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 very funny sense of humor now, doesn't it? Because shortly after that, I would say like a couple of days, and it was so weird because I felt like I could feel the energy. I could feel the energy of this person coming back into my life, and they did. I got a long text message for my ex. If it was a text message that I couldn't ignore, I will say that out of respect of for his privacy. It was a text message I couldn't ignore, and I felt in my heart to go and show up for this person in the way I felt I should. Because at the end of the day, regardless of whatever has happened between us, regardless of whomever he is seeing currently or in the future, my love for him was always genuine. My love for our relationship was always genuine. Was it a perfect relationship? Absolutely not. But I'm a Cancer sun. I have a lot of Cancer placements, so I can be, very caretaker-y, and when I see somebody down, I don't want to see them down. I want to help and be nurturing and loving, and I don't believe people should be alone in really tough situations. With that said, that was a test from the universe. The universe said, bitch, have you learned your lesson? Have you closed this cycle fully for yourself? Have you grown in these last few months that you have been apart from this person? And I neither pass nor failed in the midst of it. I believe I passed now, but we'll get to that because I chose myself in the end. And again, that's a very hard thing to do, is knowing when to let somebody go and choose yourself in any aspect in life. Because when you're someone like me, I've never been comfortable with choosing myself. I've always been comfortable with overextending myself to other people or to my friends, or not having boundaries for the sake of not wanting to make anybody feel like I don't care about them. I care about people deeply, deeply to the point where I have lost my own self-respect in the past, where I have betrayed myself and my boundaries for the sake of making somebody else feel better or being there for them in a time that I felt that I needed to be there for them. And that's my own issues to work on, because I now know that I should not be doing that for people, because frankly, not everybody deserves it. Really. And it's a hard lesson to learn. It's a hard thing to have to realize, especially from somebody that you loved very dearly. And frankly, I mean, he'll always have a place in my heart, despite what I think of him and despite how I've been treated up until I decided no more. Because that's just me and that's just the honest truth. But I also don't have to have that person in my life anymore. And I also don't have to show up for them in that way anymore. But I mean, well, I'll just tell you the truth. I showed up in the way that I thought that my heart was telling me to. And when I asked him if he was still seeing this person, that, as we all know per my last episode, he said he was. And I know you're probably thinking, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you even entertain it? Because I am a sap for the lore, and because when somebody is dealing with very serious health issues, at that time that I had this conversation with him when last, like 2 weeks ago, I was thinking completely emotionally. It was like I hit the reset button on my emotions for him, and all the progress that I had made went away for a little bit. Really, it did, because I fell back into the trap. That's how I felt. I fell back into the trap, and I didn't want to let it go. I did not want to let this person go, because all those feelings came back up again. And we rewrite history in our brain, especially when time has passed. We do that. We forget about all the bad things. We forget about all the things that made us not want to be with this person. And it happened to me. And it can happen to you. Because I thought, if this person ever comes back around, I'm going to be like, absolutely not. But in this situation, I didn't feel at that time in my emotional state that I had another option other than to be there for him. I know. But, so I, once again, people pleasing, I put a lid on it. I accepted the fact that he might still be seeing this person, but he's also told me that this person has not shown up for him once while he's been in the hospital. Winner. And I will say this. I did go in there knowing that I did set this boundary because, again, I have grown and I have taken steps for myself and boost my own confidence as to where I know what I deserve at the end of the day. I might not know what I deserve in that emotional moment that I am dealing with, but I know what I deserve at the end of the day. And so I told him, if you want me in your life, it's either me or that person, because there's no having your cake and eating it too. So as long as that person is in your life, asterisks outside of the hospital, because apparently this person doesn't care to give you the time of day, then I will not be in your life. So I chose patience. I chose peace. I understood that maybe right now was not the best time to be giving people ultimatums because they are sick. But I also set that boundary knowing that once this dynamic changes, you're going to have to either show up or get the fuck out. So what do you think happened? I mean, I am making this podcast episode. What do you think happened? Yeah, I'll say this. Actions speak volume. They always do. Words are words. I can tell you anything when I need you to be there for me in a really tough time, especially when I'm sitting in the hospital alone. So when I go home, I'm actually going to show you how I feel. And I'm actually going to show you where my intentions truly lie. And I said, you know what? I don't need this. I don't deserve this. And I want to let it go. Because I have seen too much at this point. I have experienced too much at this point. And I know too much about who you actually are. And I don't like it. Not one bit. And you didn't choose me. So why would I choose you? Why would I choose to continue being in your life? Like, that is the most disrespectful thing I could do to myself, especially when you have a third party going on. So I let it go. I let it go, and I said, our last couple of, conversations, I said, understood, take care of yourself. And that was it. And I'm talking about it now because I have that right to, because this is part of my story. This is part of my journey. This is really an emphasis of a culmination of the things that I've been learning and growing throughout my life, throughout this journey of being an actor, throughout these past 5 months that I've been dealing with the fallout of all this. And I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud for showing up for myself and choosing myself. I maybe didn't do it at first because, like I said, things were emotional and things were heightened. And when somebody is practically on their deathbed, it's really hard to turn away from them. It is. At least for me, it is. I'll speak for myself. But sometimes you just got to let the cards play out, baby. Because the universe came back around and said, are you really ready to step into that future that you've been wanting? Are you? Or are you still showing up as that old version of yourself who was afraid to stand up for himself, who didn't love himself fully, who didn't want different other than comfortability? Are you ready? And that's why I say I neither passed nor failed in the midst of all of it, because it was just so, it's complicated, clearly. But I said, bitch, I'm ready. I'm ready. You thought I was that bitch, but I'm not. I said, Uno reverse. Uno reversed on you. And look, I will never, ever regret being there for somebody in their time of need like that. I would do it again because that's what my heart told me to do. And I believe you should listen to what your heart says in times like that. And another reason is because I also learned a valuable lesson. I learned a valuable lesson of not everybody needs to be in your life despite their history. And it's okay to let people go and let them continue on their own journey, no matter how much you love them, or no matter how much you wish you could change them and you wish they could be the potential and the version of the person that you knew they could be if they didn't have demons and didn't need an exorcism. Okay? So wash your hands of things, let them go. All of this has been a culmination of years and years of lessons and years of me having to go through these lessons to understand my value. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to meet bad actors in order to understand your value. Because I didn't understand it then. I didn't really understand it the last 2 weeks, but I understand it now. When I said I am not having any more of this anymore, it serves me nothing but anxiety, but stress, but questioning my own value. If somebody makes you feel that way in your life, why do you have them in your life? If anything makes you feel that way in your life, why do you have that in your life? If I ever come to a place with acting where I'm questioning myself like that, then that means it's not for me anymore. If I ever come to a place with anything that I'm questioning my own self, that's a big sign that you should probably take a look at your environment, at what's going on, at who you have around you. Because not everybody comes into your life to better your life in that way. If you choose to take that lesson and better your life, then they were just a lesson you needed to learn. They helped you boost that boost you to that level of success through their actions and through being a reflection of the things that you actually need to work on yourself, because you keep attracting these kind of people in your life. So let it the fuck go. And if he ever listens to this, which I'm sure he probably will, because he was checking in on me this past time, then you'll know how I actually feel. And you know that I didn't deserve anything you did to me. My reactions to your behavior are not the reasons that excuse your bad behavior. And just remember that if you ever have somebody in your life that does not take accountability, who can't? Some people just they're so interesting upstairs that they just can't. But that's not somebody you need to have in your life, because all they will do is take your energy, take your shine. I was in a sour ass mood these past 2 weeks. I went to rehearsal, just like nobody talked to me. I was dark passenger the entire time, and I hate being that way. I hate being that way, but I was that way because I was giving my power once again to somebody who didn't deserve it. Not that anybody ever deserves to have your power, but I was giving it away, and I was regressing in the work that I have done in my energetic field, and we ain't doing that shit no more. And with that said, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is Gabriel Uribe. The grind has been real. And I love you, and I will see you on the next one.